Good evening, guys. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I think the last example, what we discussed,
Yeah,
I think testing, right?
yeah,
Uh,
we just introduce.
yeah. I think we can start with the marking services.
Yeah, mocking is pending.
Yeah. DB. Mm,
Then validation and
The validation and the soap services, right? Okay. I don't. So DB call, I'm creating one simple one, and the HTTP request listener, I'm placing it. One second. I'm just configuring everything. Test. As usually, I'm placing the logger and doing something. Started. Then what my requirement is, I want to select the DB one. Let's select it. DB select. So I'm configuring my Oracle. So where is my Oracle connection? Configure it is local dependency, and inside of the downloads that is available, click on OK. And here is my local host. Username is Temulial and password is Temulial demo. Instance is the XC. Okay, test the connection. Connection is successful. Then click on OK. Here I'm written one function. Select star from employee. Okay. So this is the one. I don't want to use any parameter. I'm calling my transformation. Whatever the payload is coming, I'm converting into the JSON. Okay. After that one, I'm placing one more logger and flow and okay. So this is the one. Now I want to create it, right? So previously we already know whenever we are creating any test cases, those will be available in SRC test slash unit. So as of now, there are no test cases I am created. So there is no, and inside of the resources you can see. So there is no resources we are created inside of the test resources. Okay. First, let
yes.
me execute in the normal one. Then we can execute with the unit recorder. Okay. Let's check it whether it is getting the data or not. What is the spying operation?
So before, after behavior.
Yeah, so before execution of that component, what is your input? And after executing of a task component, what is your output? We can map it. That we can call it as a spying component. Verify
Yes.
call, verify call.
Whether that a component get call or not.
That's it. Okay. Now there is third one, that is the marking. Now we are going to test this one. Check the test. Yeah, it is picking the data from my database. So you can see whenever you are hitting this URL, every time what happens, your API is directly hit your database and is picking the data. So you are done some testing operations, you are hitting your database 10 times, 20 times, so performance wise, it is not good for you. Okay. So what we do whenever performing the test cases, we need to mark whatever the response is created. I don't want hit my database and again. Whatever the output is generated by this select statement, I am putting inside of one file. Every time I am getting the data from that file. That process we can call it as a marking. Okay, let's see how we are going to create that one. I am stopping my project. Simply create a unit, create one, go to
Yeah,
unit. You can see where we
record
need to
page.
give the right click on the
Record
canvas or top of your flow.
top of our flow.
So that is the point. Just remember, just select the flow, then give the right click, go to unit. So you can simply select record test for this flow. 1 second, sometime it is happening. Oh, it is already running. Why? So whenever something like this one, so what is you need to do? You simply restart your any point studio.
Process.
That's it. Sometimes your immunity gives that error. Don't worry. You can simply restart it. Everything is comes normal. Just wait for it. Okay. Can anyone know what is the difference between REST calls and SOAP calls? Meanwhile, we can discuss that one. Is there any
Yes.
particular difference? Is there? Okay. That is one of interview question, guys. Okay. So by using the Mule application, what kind of services you are created? What kind of web services we are going to create it?
Rest.
100% REST one,
Rest
right?
based.
So then what is the next immediate question is, what is the difference between REST calls and SOAP call? That the one we are going to see after this one. Okay, I'm giving right click and go to munit. Let's record this test flow. Then errors in the project. What is the one? Always 1 second. Is there any errors in the database config? What are the errors? Everything is correct now. Then click on OK. Then still it is showing error. No. Save it. Now the errors are gone. Let's wait it. Munit. Oh, just wait for it 2 seconds. Close the project. Just again, we need to restart it. This is today error, guys. Sometimes it is behaves like this one. Meanwhile, there is a one diagram is there. I will show you. It is shows the difference between REST and otherwise. Yeah, this is the basic interview question that ask you. What is the difference between the REST and SOAP? And we will see this one first. Um, is there any error? No, no
It is
error.
gone. Now we can save.
Let's save the program. Okay, record, test, then waiting for it. So as of now, just searching, is there any resources are created inside of the SRC test resources? There are
No.
no resources created. Now you can see the difference between previous one and this one. Yeah, now deployed and I just waiting for hitting my API. I'm hitting my API and comes to here and everything it is recording. Then you can go to configure test. You can see as of now there are no resources. It is giving a test name. Then go to the next. Now you can see one by one we are going to see. So the logger. So we need to verify this process. But you can see what is this one? This is your database select, right? Now you can see there is a mark this process is there. You can select this mark this process. What happens is it is automatically collecting whatever the data it returns by your select command. You can see, so this entire payload I am selecting it and it is storing inside of a one file. So that means when every time you are running the test cases, it is not going to hit your database. So it is hitting every time whatever the data is available inside of that file only it is hitting. Let's see, I will show you. So I'm marking this one. Then the transformation message, I want to spy this process, and the logger, I want to verify it. Okay. So these are the settings I'm conditioned. Then go to the next. Let's finish. Now here we can able to see the whatever the test data it is created. You can see it is automatically creating the one test resources with the test name. Go inside of this one. You can see there is a 1 second component. What is this one?
Mock payload.
Mark payload. Let's open it. You can see this is the data, right?
Compost one, yeah.
So that means whenever we are hitting the database, it is the data. This is the data given by your database select, right? So it is automatically captured this entire data and it is kept inside of a marking payload. So whenever you are running your test cases, what happens means it is not going to hit your database. Every time it is picking the data from this one. Got it? First we will run it, then we can change the data inside of this file and let's check it. What is the data it is giving? Okay.
Yeah.
So first, how we can run this one? So can remaining everything is same. Before call and after call, everything is same. I'm going to run this unit test case. First success one, then I can show you what is the failure one, why it is the failure and everything. So here also we can able to what we do, we can able to debugging your test case one by one, step by step also. I will show you that one. There you can inspect what each and every step, what is the payload and everything. The success scenario, everything is seems to be correct, right? There is no problem is there. Then you can see there is a transformation is there, right? For the transformation, what is the test case you are written? That is spying, right? Now you can see before call, there should be definitely data which is available inside of the payload that is available, right? So where that data is available, spy asset payload, right? See, this is the one, right? Spy asset payload. Just open it. Now you can see. So where this data is coming?
Database.
So this is the same data which is coming from the database and the same data it is picking from the mapping payload, right?
Yes.
So for example, now go to in the second asset payload, the remaining you can see both are same to be, they are setting the same thing. Okay. So
Yes.
for example, I'm changing any data inside of this one. What happens? Your validation got failed or not?
Yeah.
So that means every time it is picking the data from this marking. For example, you can see, so I'm going to debug this application. Let's see what happens. So what we do, I'm simply add a breakpoint here and you can say normal one. So debug munit, just like your normal debugging is there now. I'm just debugging my application. Let's see what happens. Where is the console? Let's wait for it. Starting coverage server and everything, just wait it. Now I am running my test case within the debugging mode to test it what is the whether application is correctly executing or not. Let's check it. Now it is up and running. Now you can see this is the marking. So as of now, what is your payload? Let's go and see it. You can see, is there any payload is setting?
Not yet.
Right? How we can set the payload? So inside of this behavioral section, whatever the payload we are setting, that is picking. Now you can see the marking payload, right? You can see when we selecting this one, it is automatically setting some component. You can see, go to the next one. Now you can see what is your payload. And second, it is not at create selecting payload. Let's see it now. Now you can see inside of this one, after executing of input, you can see what is your oh, where
This is
data is come.
yesterday's.
No, this is a new one. Yeah. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I got it. So this is the data is coming from your postman, right? This is the first call. Whatever the body section is there, that is picking. Okay. Now, when we can set this payload, whenever you are executing the transformation mean database select command, then only your marking payload should become, right? Okay, let's see. So now we are going to execute your flow. Okay. So now we are entering into your execution of your flow. For the logging component, you can see, is there any payload is there? Right, bro, go to the next one. Now you can observe it. Now we try to execute your select component, but virtually this select component doesn't hit your database. So this time it is picking the data from this file. What is this one? Marking payload is there now. From that only it is picking the data. Let's see, you can see. So it is returning the some data. Okay, so where this data is coming? This data is coming from this file. I will show you one by one. 1 second. I'm running all the one. What I'm going to do is, so I'm going to change the what is the data inside of this marking payload, and we can test it whether it is picking that data or not. Okay, let's try that one. I'm deleting the whatever the payload initially it is capturing. So now inside of my marking payload, how many elements are available?
Two.
2, right? That means when we debugging this entire flow, what happens when we executing the data transformation, your payload should be these two only. Right? Let's check this one. Debug this one. Just wait for it. It is deployed and waiting for this one. So this is the entire thing is setting off your input. Okay. Just okay. Now I'm hitting it second one. Go to here. Then now we are at to try to execute your original flow. Go to here. You can see, is there any payload is there as of now? So initial payload, this is coming from your initial payload. Then go to here. Now you can see after executing of these transformations, that mean whatever the select command, there should be 2 objects only. Now you can see how many elements it is returning.
Two.
So previously it is returning the 9, right? So
Yeah.
that means how it is picking the data, where it is picking the data every time when we testing data. So automatically the database select command is picking the data from this file only. Okay, so that means virtually what you done. So whenever the first time you are selecting that command, so it is automatically capturing what is the output generated by that one, and it is placed inside a one file. This entire process we can call it as a marking of data. Marking is nothing but imitating a duplication of the data. So virtually we are assuming that this is the data written by your database component. Got it? So maybe let us assume your database is available inside of the cloud. When we done the testings, every time we need to touch your database which is available inside of the cloud, right? So every time we are hitting your Oracle database, definitely they are charging some money. So to testing, it is not a proper way, or it is not a suggestible way. Every time we need to go and hit your database. So in those situations, what we do, we can simply create some marking data, and every time we are testing that flow, every time it is hitting that marking data only. So this process we can call it as a marking of data. Got it, guys?
First time we have to hit the database, na?
The first time, first time it is hitting your database. That's why it is capturing the data, right?
Okay.
So if it is not hitting your data initially, what happens? How we can get that data, right? Okay. Now you can, so we can move to the next component. Let's see it where this one, right? Now you can see it is everything is executed correctly and comes down. So that whatever the process we are calling, that we can call it is a marking of that particular component. Okay. Got
Why
it,
did
guys?
you failure, sir?
Sorry.
Why it is showing failure red color?
Where?
Left side of the
Where are
left side.
report?
This is the one, right? There is an error is the right? It is waiting, right? I will show you. I will. So let's go and see what are the errors, and maybe you can understand why it is got failed. I think a database timeout error is coming. You can see. I'm kept waiting that database component, right? Without moving to the next component. That's why your database select component is got rise an error of timeout error.
Oh.
Okay. So everything is simple. Okay. If you want, I can execute one more time. Debug it. Let's wait for it. Just wait it. Now we can move to the first component that go here. So flow level one by one we are executing the select. It is automatically picking the data from that marking payload. Then it go to the spy. You can see it is throwing an error. Anyone can tell me why it is throwing an error? Why it is throwing an error? Can anyone? It is
Because
the
we have to
spy operation, right? Now tell me.
Expected is not
Right now you can see. So what is the spy can do before transformations? Your payload, whatever the payload you are giving, that should be same as your marking payload, right? Then only your spy operation is performed. Right now you can see inside of the marking payload, how many objects are there?
two.
Two. But inside of the spy asset, you can see. So the how many objects are there? 11, right? That means you are changed this one marking payload, but so whenever at the time of recording the initial data is that, that means whatever the payload inside of the marking, that should be same as before executing of the transformation. That is the validations you are kept, right? Got
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So, otherwise I will on second. I can place the same thing, and I will, you can see this is the marking payload, right? What I'm going to do, both and kept the same data, then you can understand. So before transformation, your payload should be the same as this one. That is the meaning of the vacancy. Now, this is the one. So after spy payload, also I'm not done any modification. So my payload should be the same because I'm not performing any operation, right? Let's save all the things and try to debug again. Then you can get it correct properly. You got it? Why the validation got failed? Because you are changed the initial recorded marking payload, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Now we can check this one. So here, just remember, we can able to mark whatever, maybe you are using the file read component. We can mark that file read component data also, not only for the DB call, whatever the wherever data is there. So we can able to mark that data. Okay. Now we can move to one by one. Then here after selecting component, now you can see both are same. After execution of the transformation inside of this one also and kept the same thing, then we can get the dot. All the validations are executed. Okay. Asset payload, you can see here. I think it is pointing to another file. That's why it got error where this file is pointing. I think here we need to check it. Asset expression payload. We need to change that one. Okay. Asset expression payload. So we need to change here also. Don't worry, I will show you. But you can understand now how we can able to do the testing and marking the process. Asset. Okay. Here also we need to change. Okay. The all the tenors we can kept it. Okay. Now you can understand what is the meaning of the marking the data. Hello. Yes or no? Hello.
Yeah,
Little
yeah.
bit, not completely.
Not, you can see, for example, the marking is nothing but whatever the initial it is created data, I'm simply capturing it and placing inside of a one file. That concept we can call it as a marking. Okay. Understand? Now, whatever I'm saying, I understand, right?
And there is a component mock when to use
Mark,
in real mock when.
I didn't get you. Mark when?
Mock when component is there, right? With M unit.
Where? One
In
second.
M unit,
Unit, right? Mark
mock
when
when.
is the condition, guys. So
Yeah.
particular condition, depending on the condition, we need to mark it, right? So in that
Can
situation, actually, I didn't use it, but
because in our
where?
project we are using heavily that mock when.
Okay, we will check this one. Conditions. Pick the process, and here we can select it. I think this is the one. Doc ID. We need to give it manually, and mm, okay. So mark when is nothing but maybe we can see whenever we are executing some particular component, right?
Mhm.
So when we hit that component, I want to set this payload. Then in that situation, we need to use the mark when.
How
Yes,
to
you can
set
see. You can see the display name is the mark when. So whenever hitting that one, automatically it is creating the data. I will where we can put the data. I think it is showing. I didn't use it, but we will try. And the payload and the value, I can give
here
the
we have to
value.
provide the path, right?
Sorry.
Here we have to provide that file path. Mock
Yeah.
payload PWN.
No. There is. I am setting my data as manual data. Let's check it. Maybe in the mode it is coming or not. We can able to set the data like here. Okay. It is a plain text, right? Where it is. Text
Text
dot
statement.
line. Okay.
Mainly these are heavily used component.
Okay. Mark when we can run in the debug mode. Let's test it. Frankly speaking, I'm not expert on writing on the mute, guys. I'm just using recorder. That's it. It's but we will try this one. Okay, it is deployed. Let's see. Um, Just wait it. Let's check it whether this component is executed. What happens? Oh, is it done? I think it is throwing an error. 1 second. What is the error? It is throwing.
Mocking data is not defining new register. Oh, I think this component causes error. We no need to place here. Let's save. We will 1 second. So this component here means definitely that component is available at the time of testing. What I'm going to do, I'm creating one more test case. Let's check this one. There we can see that marking when operation is coming. 1 second. What we do, I can create one more test. Definitely there we can see that option. Okay, we can hit this one and let's capture everything. Configure test. I can view test name as a test2. Then next, output and everything. Logger, we can verify it. But the select the marking process, definitely there may be option is there. We're going to set it. The payload, everything it is coming. Mark this one. And there it is not coming. What they said is the mark when means when this payload and attributes are matching but particular component, then only your marking will be done. That is the meaning of the mark when. But already we are setting the mark select and both are same. And the mark select and process. Otherwise, instead of this marking, we can set this one mark when. We can select the DB select and we give the document ID. And here,
Yeah, correct.
is it coming for this one? Yeah, not for this one. I think we can place this everything there. Copy and paste it. Application/Java. Doc ID. Application/Java and everything. And what we do, I remove this one. Let's try this one. Yeah, add a breakpoint, save it, and run it. So what they said is the mark when is nothing but you can see the mark when allows you to mark an event processor when it matches to defined mark. Whatever the processor you are defining, so whenever it is matches that particular event processor, automatically this payload is getting. That is the meaning of that one. That means you are setting the mark when, that means while we execute in the component by component, when the component matches to this whatever the particular component you are setting. That means in this example you are setting the select na. So when we
Yes.
reach into the select component, automatically it whatever the payload you are setting, that is setting. That is the mark when they are setting, but we are going to test it whether we can execute it or not. So definitely first we are going to see, okay, I set a payload and everything and coming over this one. And now there is no errors, everything is coming perfectly. Let us say mark when is there, from which file it is picking the data, marking payload.dwl, where that file is available. 1 second, I can open in this one. So the SRC test resources, test 02, mark payload. Where is this one? DB flow test, where it is coming? Oh, from here it is picking. Mark
Second
payload,
page.
mark payload. Oh, data is coming this one, but it is not pointing here. Okay, asset expression payload.
It should give error, right?
Maybe. Copy paste it now. We are not done anything manually. 1 second. Actually, where we
Maybe
are
we have
putting
to,
yeah, you can see my this is the one is available inside of the first state. First we are running on the test, second test.
we have to disable other tests, sir.
Okay, then we can.
Maybe that causing error. We have to disable at the right corner, sir.
Alert disability. Yeah. The symbol you can see when we give the right click and there is a disable option is there. Let's check this one. Okay, now this component is executing and the initially, then okay, data is coming. Go to first flow, then it is coming. Now it is picking the data from that particular component. You can see this is much more similar to the normal component, guys. You can see, okay, I got it. So the mark one is nothing but when we write it manually, we need to select it, right? Whenever that particular component is there, we need to set some payload, right? So in those situations, you can see when we drag and drop this marking payload, you can see there are settings you can able to see. So it is asking you. So which process, whenever we are executing the which process, you need to mark the data. Okay, that is the meaning of the mark when. So inside of the mark when, so I want to do the marking of data when. So whenever we are executing this particular component, you need to pick the data from this component. That is the meaning of the mark when. Okay, got it, guys? Hello.
Yeah.
So you can see here I'm picking the data, right? You can see whenever I'm selecting the DB select, what happens? You can see I'm double clicking it in docking ID. So whenever I'm using this database select, automatically it is picking the data from this one. Maybe that is the meaning of the mark when. Okay, the intention of the when means whenever whatever the process try to execute it, so you need to pick the data from these components, whatever the values you are setting, it is picking the data from that location. Okay, that is the mark when. But when we using this recorder, everything is comes there only. So when we do the manually, we need to select all these component like this one. Okay, yes or no? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all it. So this nothing is there. This is the only unit we are going to do. So generally 90% first you can create a recorder, then thereafter you can able to map what you can do whatever the manual modifications. Okay. So that's all for M unit. Nothing more than is there. So when we use the recorder, everything comes into the very easily. But when we're writing out this thing manually, so it is somewhat difficult. Yeah. Okay. So that is the one. Then we can move to the next component and what is this one? Close this project. And here, one of the interview question and basic one also. So whatever the previous web services are there initially, they're created the SOAP calls. So you can see what is a REST, the basic one. Can anyone tell me what is a REST? REST is a
Architecture.
simple architecture. Now you can see the comparison between REST and SOAP, where SOAP is a
Protocol.
that is the main difference. So what maybe you can ask, maybe the architecture and protocol both are same? No, they are not same. Architecture is nothing but so how we can send the request, how we can access the data. That is the only thing, the simplest way of sending the request and getting the response. But whereas when we using the protocol, we need to use some proper data formats. We need to send the data in a proper way only. So that means whenever we are using any protocol, we must parsing of the data. That is the one you need to remember. Okay, so here you can see the REST calls are using the simple architecture. They are using the plain text data, just JSON data to transfer the data from one source to another source. But whereas your SOAP call using the different protocols. When we are mentioning the word protocol means we need to what we call it as a generally we can encrypt the data or we can convert it into the some predefined format, then only we can able to send it. So that is the one of the difference between REST and SOAP. So in simple words, how we can say that what is the SOAP and REST, you can see. So let us say this is my mobile application. So I want to send one REST based service. You can see. So this is your postcard. You can see what is the intention of the postcard. Inside of the postcard, there is no, we can write whatever the message you want and you can write to address and you simply post it, right?
So
Yes.
no extra things we know to do. But the same message I want to send by using the soap call, what we need to do. So whatever the message you are written inside of the write out on the paper, the same paper I can put it into the inside of a envelope cover. Top of envelope cover, you need to write address and you paste it one stamp. Then only we can able to send it. Okay. So maybe you can set that the SOAP calls are more secure and REST-based calls are less secure. But you can observe it. You can see actually you need to send simple information. So which one is the easiest way of sending the data? Either using the postcard, either using the envelope cover. I want to send simple data, simple message. Please come to there is a event is going on. Please come to office by tomorrow morning. So this is the message I want to send.
Just
We can
fine.
simply write on the message on the postcard and we can post it. The same message I want to send by using envelope cover, what we need to do, we can write it same message on the paper, I can put it in the envelope cover. I want to close that envelope cover. Top of that one, again, I need to write a to address and I need to paste a stamp, right? That means we need to add extra things, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that is your SOAP. The SOAP means whatever original data is there, for the original data, you need to add some extra data because it is a SOAP is one protocol. When we using the protocol, we need to structure your data in a proper meaning order, and we need to add some extra metadata information to start transfer the data. To adding, to passing, everything, we need to spend some more processing time. That means the SOAP call required more bandwidth to process your data or more resources to process to parsing your data. Okay, but whereas a REST, they are using the simple architecture, they can send the data in the form of plain text and it is getting the data in the form of plain text. Though we require less number of resources to transfer the data. Okay, then whenever we need to speed up your data transfer, then we need to use which one? REST or SOAP?
Rest.
That is the main difference. Okay, when someone asks this question, what is the SOAP and REST, why we are migrating from the SOAP to REST, means this is the answer for you. The SOAP calls are protocol based one. So to parsing the data, we need to spend more processing power to parsing and decode the data of SOAP. But whereas REST, we no need to do any parsing. It is using simple plain text format to transfer the data. So we no need to give more processing power. Okay, got it, guys?
Yes.
So that's why the SOAP calls, we can call it as heavyweight components. REST calls are, we can call it as a lightweight component. Okay, moreover, inside of the SOAP, everything we need to write in the form of XML format only. Okay, you already know what is the main drawback of XML. We need to properly close the XML tags and everything, right? So that's why your SOAP calls are needs more processing power. Okay, that is the one main requirement. The second one is for the SOAP call, what we do is SOAP call first there is a client server architecture is there. So they will create one SOAP schema, and that SOAP schema is available inside of one server. Whenever we need to get the data from the SOAP server, first we need to register with the SOAP provider. Then only we can able to get the data. Okay, the first client hit the SOAP register call, from that one only he can direct to the SOAP server. Then only he can able to get the data. So we need to migrating one server to another server, then only we can get it. But whereas in the REST services, the client directly hit your server and he can get the data. Okay, so I will show you how we can get the SOAP calls and everything. Okay, so this is the main difference between SOAP and REST. So in the modern APIs, 99% all the calls are the REST based one. Whatever the already existing SOAP calls are there, they already start migrating with the REST because of REST are very simple one. Okay, I will show you. So for the SOAP, we need to create one schema file. That schema file, we can call it as a web services dynamic library, that is WSDL. We can call it as. I will show you. I'm going to close this, all the things not necessary. Now you can see. So this is my simple SOAP call. So inside of, you can see, I will open. You can see this is my SOAP service. Okay, I'm opening it. This SOAP services inside of this file. Now you can see this is the soap schema, we can call it as. Okay, maybe you are not able to understand this one. Here you can see inside of the soap, we are going to perform different kinds of operation. So this is the soap call. Generally, we can write it. How we can identify this one? Now you can see here. You can see what is this one. Maybe maybe you are onboarding for any project. Maybe there is a need of consuming your soap services, so they will share the visual file like this one. Though this visual file consists all your soap operation. So how we can able to identify the operations means you can see there is a one tag is available. What is this tag name? Element. You guys are able to see it or not?
Element name.
Element name. Now you can see add response, subtract response, multiply. So these are all the operations. Okay, that means when we using this visual file, when we using these soap services, these are the list of operations we are going to perform it. Okay, now you can set that where is your soap service, where it is available inside of your
Server.
machine, inside of the server. Now
Server
you can see this is your soap
schema.
schema, but according to the image, what first we need to do, whatever the soap schema is there, that should be first registered with the server, then only we can pick the information for the server. Now you can see, well, we configuring the soap services, you can understand. Now what is my what is my intention is I want to consume this soap service inside of your mule application. How we are going to do it? Okay, got it? Now you
Yeah.
can see I'm just opening the my soaps call. You can see this is the my application. I'm opening it. I'm recreating everything. Don't worry. I'm just opening it. Whatever the data is there, I'm deleting and everything. Okay. Global element. I'm deleting. Now I'm just adding my HTTP listener and the logger. Then what is your requirement? What is your requirement? You need to consume the which service?
Soap.
So soap is nothing but it is also one kind of web services, right? So
Yes.
which connector we need to select? It is there is a web consumer is there. You can see web service consumer. So we need to use this what is this one? This connector to consume your soap services. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So how we can consume your REST services?
Using the registry. Wisdom.
HTTP. Consuming is nothing but how we can call other REST services inside of your application. What is the connector we are going to use it?
Requester.
HTTP requester. That is the one. Okay. Now I am placing here. Okay. Now the everything you can see here. For first thing is we need to configure this web consumer. Go to here. Place. Now here you can see. So the first thing is it is asking your visitor location. Where is your visitor location? So in this example, where is my visitor location? This is my visitor location. I'm just copying it. Okay, go to here. I am placing it. Okay, just wait it. So obviously here you can see what is the one? What is the
Service.
one? Service. How it is identify the service name? Depending on your vegetal main, depending on your soap schema, it is automatically identify this service. Okay. The service is nothing but what is the what mean this soap service, this whatever the soap schema they are written. So this soap service is going to perform which operation that is indicated by your service. Okay. Next, moreover, you can see there is a port is there. Port is nothing but which soap service call you are using, soap 11 or something. You can see there may be adding different thing, calculator soap. That's it. We no need to do anything. You can see automatically, you can see now you can observe it. It is automatically adding one URL for you. What is this URL? What is this URL?
What is
Your
soap port we have given, or it automatically populates?
depending on your schema, it is automatically populating, guys.
Port
We
also.
know, yeah, you can see automatically it is populating. Everything it is populating. You no need to give anything. So just loading the schema, everything it is coming here. That is the intention of the SOAP. So everything we can structureize it, and depending on the structure, it is picking everything. We don't need to do anything manually here for the SOAP.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can see just read out, you can see both are same or both are different.
Different.
So that means you can see this is the main, you are running your SOAP service. Definitely that SOAP services must be execute inside of one server. After executing the whatever the operation, it should be written the data. Then in this example, where is your service is running? So inside of this remote location is service is running. That is the intention of the address. Maybe in the HTTP requester, we are adding that one a host name. The same thing here. Okay. So how we can populate all this information depending on this WSDL file. Okay, that is the one. Then click on OK. Okay, now everything is we are getting. Now you can see by using the SOAP services, we need to perform operation. So how we can able to identify the operation? Now you can see there is operation is there. So you can simply select, you can see. So in by using that SOAP services, so these are the operation we are going to perform it. Okay, so for example, I want to perform add. Okay, now you can see when we selecting the add operation, this consume perform the add operation, but for this one we need to provide the data, right?
Yes.
So how we can provide the data? So it is very easy. You can simply place one transformation before the web consumer, and you can place one more transformation after the consume. I will show you why. Oh. Before consume one, after consume one. Why we are placing means you can see before consume we are placing the transformation. Now it is automatically identify what is the input format I need to give it. You can see. So this consume can perform add operation. For this add operation, what is the input we need to send it? So that is identified by this transformation. As you can see, this is output means. So whatever the output is here, that is acted as input for this component, right?
Yeah.
Right now you can see for this one. So what are the variables I need to pass it? Two variables, right?
Yeah.
How we can pass the value? You can see I'm double clicking it. You can see by default it is pointing to null. Now you can see it is automatically adding some schema for also. Observe it when we double clicking it. Yes or no? Now here you want to pass the variable, right? I am passing the variable from my payload. You can pass like this one. Otherwise, so you can give whatever the static value also. I am passing payload dot a, and the second one I am passing payload dot b. Okay, so these two values I am passing. Okay, once you pass the input, definitely this data forward to this consume, and it is executing, and again it is return the some value, right? So how we can identify that value? You can simply go to this transformation. Whatever the input is there, definitely this input is coming out of this consume, right?
Yes.
Now you can understand why I'm placing one transformation before SOAP call, after the SOAP call. Everything it is automatically identify for you. We no need to do anything. Okay. Now you can see. So my data is available inside of the payload, right? Now you can see I'm printing JSON. What is the one result? I am going to print it. So where that result is available? First, it is available inside of the payload dot. You can see inside of the payload. First, you can observe it. So this is the variable, right? Where it is available? Add result payload dot
Body dot
body dot and then
address.
0 something. Then you can see dot. You can see this is the one. Okay. So in this of variable, we can get the result. So you can see I'm not remember anything. I no need to do any schema validations and everything. So everything when we place in the transformation, it is automatically identify that output. Just we can map that variable. That is very easy. Got it?
Yes.
So that's the one. Let's try to execute this one. Let's try it. We can save the program. Like to run it. SOAP call. What is the name? For this one, we need to pass the variable, right? SOAP call. And here I want to pass two variables, right? What are the variables?
AB.
Both are integers, right? A, we can give the 25, and the B, I'm going to
45. Let's see. Is it applied now? Yes, it is deployed. Go once. We can hit it. It is taking some time and it is giving response. Now you can see 25 plus 40, 70. Where this entire process is done inside of your SOAP call. That SOAP call is executed inside of some remote server and the result is returned back to you. Okay. So every time for the SOAP call, which connector we are using?
Web service
Web
consumer.
consumer, and the more of the settings, which one is the most important? Which one is the important one?
Web visual
Visual
location.
location.
Visual file. Okay, so in this here my visual file is available inside of the remote places. So in some cases what happens is they will give the visual file and they're placed inside of your resources. From there also we can able to do it. Let's see that example. Now
Can
we
you
are
have
going.
different visual examples, sir?
Yeah, I am taking.
Then calculator.
Yeah, so you can see these are all this is the main. This is the website they can provide the visuals. I am just picking from these only. Okay, you can see this is the separate visual. Okay, just I'm hitting it. This time I'm saving this entire visual inside of my local location and we are going to hit it. Let's see that one. Okay, just open this one. Second.
Country information.
I'm going to, okay, I'm just copy this entire thing, but I don't know whether it is picking correct format or not. Let's try this one. Just saving inside of one file. Value saving. Okay. Save it. I'm placing on the desktop. Then we can copy paste it. What is the file name?
Country.
Country services. WSO.
Visual.
Maybe all types. Sometimes they're coming as WSO. Let's try this one. Okay. Otherwise, we can give it as a visitor. Save this file. We can copy this file from there and we can copy it. I'm stopping this one and where it is available. Okay, there is option is there. We can able to select it manually also. Now I'm changing it here. You can see I'm just go to here. Where is my divisional file? Okay, we need to place here only. Where is my resources? SRC main resources. I'm placing my visual file here. Let's try this one. Control C. Go to here, SRC main resources. I'm placing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can go here and go here. Now you can see it is coming. Then I'm copying this one. Let's wait for it. We no need to do it anything. Now everything it is automatically picking. Just wait for it. So service now you can see depending on this visual file, everything is coming automatically. So here we need to select the port and you can see I'm selecting the port. Depending on the port, our address is automatically mapping. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is the one. Now previously my visual file is available from the remote service. Now I am placing visual file inside of my resource folder. Depending on that one, everything it is pointing. Okay. Now click on OK. Then go here. It same. So first it is going to add. First we are going to do some operation. You can simply refresh it. Depending on the visual, it is automatically stored the operation. Now you can see these are the different operations. I think for this input, okay, currency name, I'm selecting it. Okay, okay.
So I don't know what is the input I want to do it. So how we can able to identify that input? Just go to the before transformation message. Now you can see whatever it is, I'm deleting and everything. One second, one second.
DW you deleted.
Yes,
Control Z.
control Z is not working. Okay, I'm just removing it. Okay, if you place the okay, now you can see it is asking this one. Now you can see what it is asking, currency name. Currency ISO code, we need to send it. What is that currency ISO code? We are going to see it.
T currency.
This is the one, right? We are doing.
Yeah. Yes.
This
Yes.
input, is there any currency ISO code?
Yeah, there is.
Where it is? Example we required. Yeah. What is
Inside the digital there is.
which one? Where?
Inside the wisdom.
Okay. This is the visitor. Yeah.
There are.
No. There are only variable names. Now we need to pass one example.
We can give like a dollar.
I will. Currency ISO code, right? We can search it. This is the problem. Currency ISO code. We can search it. ISO currency. Oh, where is this? Otherwise, we can go for the
You can see
simple one.
capital.
So
Yeah,
you can give like
yeah.
USD, EUR, like
Sure, we can search it. USD.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can try that.
Otherwise, we'll try
Otherwise,
with
we
some
can.
capital.
Okay. You can see I'm removing everything and
Refresh.
okay, the payload dot body dot currency responses dot currency name. That is the one. Nothing is there. There anything is there? Currency
No,
name
no.
result. Okay. Then save the program. Let's try to run it. Sir, all you can see this is the website. I'm picking everything, visual files and everything.
Can you paste
Okay.
that link?
Sorry.
Can you paste that link in chat?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just searching and that's it. Everything has comes. Okay. Now it is executed.
You have to pass it from postman.
No, it is not deployed yet. Okay, now go to postware. And I am hard code it now. There is no need of do it. Okay. USD means dollars. I think RS means rupee. Okay. Got it. You can see the consume whatever the input I am sending here. You can say my hard code it to USD.
Can
Otherwise,
you
we can.
capture from payload? Yeah,
Sorry.
request. Can you capture
didn't-
it from request dynamically?
Okay, then.
Postman request.
Payload dot whatever the one we can give code, right? We can give a like
Code.
we can save it. From here we can
Pass RS.
code. First we can go for the USD, then we can check it whether it is coming properly or not. Okay.
I think for rupees it is INR.
Okay, yes. And then we can search for
Capital INR.
INR, Indian rupee. Yes. Okay. So this is the way we can call your SOAP services, guys.
Can you change it to capital? Just a
Which one?
query.
Which one?
Instead of currency, capital operation.
Oh, okay. We are going to perform another operation. Okay.
On
where
no,
we
just
can go to. Yeah.
consume. Yeah. Currency
we-
name.
Yeah.
The first
Instead
one.
of that one, we need to change which one.
Capital. The, above. First.
Currency
Scroll
name,
up.
full country, info, country, all countries.
No. Scroll up, sir. All the way to up. Scroll.
Okay. Capital
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
country flag, which one?
Capital city.
Capital city. I can save it.
We have to change transfer message.
Oh, again, we need to change it now. Okay. Yeah, for this one, I can remove it. And this is the, can stop it. Oh, for this one is also ISO code only. Okay. Payload dot
Code.
code. And output also we need to change it. So what is the one?
Payload.
Payload
Dot.
dot body dot
Capital
capital
city of
dot
response.
capital city.
Your result. Yeah.
Save and run it. For example, here we need to validate it whether that code field is available or not. If it is available, then only I want to proceed it. Otherwise, I want to stop my flow execution. So how we can do that means by using the validations, we can able to do it. We can add that case here. First, we can hit this one. For this one, we need to give INR. I think INR or India. Let's check it. That is the response. You can see for the India, it is the one. For example, I'm giving as a US. Now, got it here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for example, here there's a value is there, then only I want to proceed to the next component. Otherwise, I want to throw an error. So how we can do that means that is the validation. You can simply set it is the validation is there. Now you can see this is sorry, validation. Okay, if the validation is there, here we can able to check it. What is the one means here is null, is not null is there. Is the null, is the not null, then only I want to proceed it. Here you can see I'm placing it. That means before executing of the transformation message, I am checking it. So what is the message I'm checking it the value? Here you can see I'm checking my entire payload, right? Payload dot what is the one? The code. Okay. So if it
Payload
is a
option.
not null, then only I can able to proceed it. Otherwise, I'm stopping and here it is raises an error. It will stop my execution. Here you can see, here you can send one error message also. So we can give country code should be there. We can message like this one. Country code
Should be there.
should not be
And
empty. So this is the message and I'm saving it. Let's save. Uh, run it. Okay. Let's save this. So these are all the validations, simple thing. So what is the validation thing is normally we can check the condition. If it is fail, it is we are not going to do anything. But the validation, what happens if the condition fail? So it is automatically raises an error. What happens when the rise an error inside of the flow? Your program execution stops, right?
Yes.
So that is the purpose of this validation. So if it is condition is true, then only we can able to proceed it. Otherwise, your entire execution stops. That is the purpose of the validation. Okay, let's hit it for the normal one first. Normal it is coming. For example, here there is no data is there. For example, here I am placing as a null. Okay, then hit it. Now you can see what is the error it is throwing.
country code. Can you run
So-
it, sir, in debug mode?
Now you
Terminal
can see
control.
here, you can see here we are getting the error. I can observe it.
Yeah.
So you can see it is raises an error and there is no further execution simply. So this is the validation purpose. So normally by using the choice router also we can able to check it, but the choice router doesn't raise an error explicitly, right? Again, we need to put a rise component and we need to raise it manually. But the validation purpose is when the validation got failed, it is automatically raises an error.
So there is no execution beyond that.
No, there is no beyond execution. If you want, I can stop this flow and
Can you
I'm
run
adding the
debug?
breakpoint and we can break it.
Yeah. Cross check. So it avoids that unnecessary
Yes,
loop.
yes, yeah. For example, maybe let us assume for this call there is a particular query parameter is there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that query parameter is there, then only I want to move it. Otherwise, I want to stop my execution. So in the situation, we can simply place this validation and we can check it. Okay. I will show you one second. Unnecessarily why we are executing that till the end. So the starting itself, I can check it. If the value is there, then I can move it. Otherwise, I can stop my execution.
Got it.
Can go to here and what is this one? We can hit it. Come here now in the dual mode. Now you can see now at the validation. Now you can see there is a error rises automatically. Then there is no further execution. Stops the execution.
Oh,
Okay. So that is the advantage. Instead of rising it manually errors, it is automatical rises for error. If it is the value is there, for example, here you are placing the value. What is the one? INR, right?
mm,
Then we can send here.
yeah.
Now the value is there. It is a not null. Then we can move to next component. Got it?
So internally that validation use on air propagate.
No. Maybe no, not on error propagate. Rise error component is there, na?
So internally
That is
it
the
came
one.
to present.
Yes.
Okay.
So it
So
is
you moved on.
automatically check the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the remaining. If it is false, automatically it raises an error.
Terminate the flow.
Yes. That is the
Oh.
one. So these are all the several. There is a limited validations are available. You can see maximum we can use this one. Is null, not null, it is a blank or it is a something you can see, we can able to use this one. Okay. That is the validation. Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one, guys. I think from my side, that's all right. I think I covered the most of the things, whatever we are designed in the real time. Up to you. You guys are practice well, then you can able to create the flows your own, guys. Tool
Sir,
is
also
not a, yeah. Go ahead.
earlier day I got to know one thing I just want to share.
Yeah.
When we import RAML from any point platform, it come with automated generated flow, right?
Yes.
And if we create a RAML or if we do some changes RAML on Studio, then
Yes.
that respective flow we have to create.
Whenever we adding not changes, when we add the any new endpoint,
Yeah. So that
for that
we have,
endpoint, we need to map it manually here.
yeah. But I come to know from one of my senior colleagues, there is an option. If you do any changes or add new endpoints locally on Studio,
Okay.
and then you go and create generate flows from local RAML,
Okay.
right click, it does the same job as we import from the Studio endpoint platform. So that in that case also you no need to create the flows also.
I didn't get it. Can you come back again? So when we
Yeah.
done the modification on the local RAML file, then how it is generated automatically?
So yeah, that's what I want to check. If you go to that example, and if you add any new extra endpoints, and
Okay.
then we click on that project or somewhere, right click, there is an option generate flows from local RAML.
That's okay. Then what happens is the already existing one is overridden, na? Did you check it? Did you check it?
I didn't. It doesn't get over. Yeah, it get overlap, but it
The
create
over
from
that
start to
one you
beginning.
can that start the begin means already existing code is there, na? Then what happens? Depending on
Then
the RAML, it is generating only the dummy code, right? You are added everything, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm telling. You can see you have done some implementation part added for the RAML. When we're regenerating, what happens according to the RAML, it is always, it will create the dummy response from there, right?
Okay.
Already existing implementation, what happens? They got overwritten, right?
Yeah.
That is the problem. That's why
So
whenever
it
we're
should.
adding the any things, we
Mhm.
need to do that part manually without overriding, without importing from the starting ending.
Okay, I didn't ask that question.
You can check it. So it is created. No, that definitely it will created, but from where it is created, whatever whatever you are created the implementation, but that part is there, or it is starting from it is implemented.
No.
That you can check it.
Okay.
If it is
If
created from the starting, what happens? Whatever you created, everything is gone now.
our implementation will lose.
Yes, that is the
If
problem.
if it
That's
is
why
only
we are.
created for the change part, then it is helpful.
Then how we can RAML identify this is the new one, this is the old one?
Okay.
That is the problem of importing that. Yeah.
I'll
So
try it by itself.
yeah, you try it. No problem. Actually. Okay. So anything else, guys? Yeah.
Yeah. Any helpful documentation for interview preparation you
For
have?
the
Can you
interview
share?
preparation, always you can start with the back end, guys. My suggestion is always you can start interview from the back. That means implementation part, batch processing, whatever we are discussing in the last. Because the real time, what happens is they can start interview from the last components only because there are the most crucial ones. Everybody can say that what is the flow or what is the error. Everybody can say it, but when we ask the questions on the scenario based questions, there are the million records are there. What are the best practices when the error comes here inside of the batch processing? What is your approach to solve that one? So these kind of question they generally asking today's. Okay, then they are not going to stick any particular question. Can you explain HTTP request? Those kind of question they are not going to ask you. So they always comes with the one example scenario and they ask you how we can solve it. That is the one. And the second part is in the data view, definitely you need to learn the filter, map, and the sorting. Okay. So whatever the questions that are coming, definitely in these three only, they will first ask the question.
Yes.
Okay. How we can sort the data? If the data is coming, how we can sort it? So how we can sort the data reversely? How we can filter the data? So there is a particular data is there, how we can iterating the one by one, how we can check the condition. These are the questions only they're asking. Okay. So first, depending, it is almost they can ask only 5 to 6 questions initially. If you answer 5 to 6 questions, then definitely there is a getting job chances of up to 80%. First 5 to 10 questions only they can assess you. So whether you have the original worked on this technology, maybe you can got knowledge on this one. So always they can start the interview from the RAML and reversely they are asked the questions. When we take about RAML, so when we talk about the RAML, the first they can start with the traits. What is a trait? Then they can go for the how you can apply the schemas, data types. Then they can go for the what is the difference between data type and resource types. These are the five
Yes, sir.
questions. They
What is the
definitely they will.
resources in Primal?
The
I got
resource
that.
type is nothing but you can see the resource type. You can see when we data type. What is the data type in the RAML? Inside of the data type, always you can give the only one particular one, right?
Yeah.
So one particular one, okay. When we go the traits, what happens? You can give either header spot or the query parameter, otherwise you can see. But when we go the resource type, we can able to give the method wise responses. You can see get method definition we can give it, post method definition we can give it. That is not possible inside of the traits.
Okay.
Okay, that is our resource types. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the one. So they generally they ask the basic questions only. But what happens is at the times maybe you are not recollecting. So you always start your preparation from the reverse. Then it is very easy, guys, to crack the interview. Okay, always starts with the in the reverse order only. When we go with the config variables, they are asking you, and moreover, they definitely ask this question: what is the deployment model you are using inside of your project? Okay, don't say that I can simply create the jar file, I can put it inside of the cloud hub by uploading. Don't never say that one. So there are automated pipelines are there. I'm simply trigger that automated job. Automatically my job is triggered. That is the one. Okay. These are some questions they're asking you guys. Okay.
Is there any other you want to discuss? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, guys?
So today will be our last lecture, plus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yes. I think from
So
25th onwards, we're going to start the new batch for 7:30 batch. Sure. Any referrals are there? Please reference.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see maybe anyone doesn't know the automated jobs. So how we can pick the source file from the automated jobs means your answer is, so inside of that one, definitely you are using version control, na? Either GitHub, Azure, DevOps, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the code here you are seeing, definitely this code is pushed to your GitHub. From that GitHub location only, your Jenkins pipelines pick the code. That is the point, you remember it. Okay, whatever the code you are written, after end of the day, you need to push this entire code to your GitHub repository. From that GitHub repository only, your Jenkins pipeline pick your code. You are not going to do anything manually. That is the point you need to remember. Okay, so inside of your Jenkins server, depending on your POM file, everything it is creating, and it is creating the jar file. That is that process, you can call it as a building application. Okay, whenever you answer in the pipeline, so this is the point, just remember it. Okay, you can ask, you can tell about how we can deploy your application. Means you can simply say that once the implementation part is completed, I'm pushing entire code inside of my GitHub repository, that is a UAT branch. From the UAT branch, my automated Jenkins pipelines trigger it. From that branch, it is picking the code and it start executing it. That is the part only you can explain it. Other than, don't give anything like that one. So they can talk about how we configuring and everything. Don't give any wrong answers. You can simply say that there is separate team is there. They will take care of all things. I don't have any idea about configuration files. So this is the
Yes.
part only I can aware of it. You can simply said like that when there is no problem is that they will agree with you, because as a developer we don't have a permission to see all those things. But you can, how we can deployment is done means you can explain this way. Then there is no other question they are going to ask you, because this is the basic principle, we are going to follow it. Yeah. Anything else, guys? You want to discuss with me? Then
It's our last
you
lecture,
want-
guys.
yeah,
Anybody